It all started with the gauntlet. I was assigned the Emerald Amethyst Ink combination. Set 3 had just released and some more cards came out giving more board clearing capabilities for this ink combination, sending things back to my opponent's hand, also known as the secret art of bouncing. I prepped with my mentor and made it through the first couple of rounds with ease. I thought bouncing would be enough, but then he showed up. Liam of the Illumineers, taunting me with those blue fairies and Captain Hook. I kept bouncing them away, but they just kept coming back. Just bouncing didn't seem to be enough. Set 4 came and offered some more options to bounce more cards, but it still wasn't enough to conquer the field in Toronto. I bounced and then I lost, bounced and then lost again, then I bounced and then... Oh, hey, 2-0, nice. And then I bounced and lost again. This went on for several more rounds. I was at least able to win my belt playmat. But bouncing still doesn't seem to be quite enough. I'm sorry, Tigger. I'm a failure. I tried to live up to your legend, showing the others the fun of bouncing, whether they wanted to or not. Set 5 has come and gone, and I'm not sure anything will make Lorcana ready for a whole bounce meta.
Blake? Are you okay?
He's been sitting here since August.
I think I know what will put that bounce back in his step.
Do you think she'd let us borrow it? She is a villain after all.
I mean, once she sees what Blake can do with it in his deck, I think she'd be more than happy to lend it.
Hey, buddy, look what we got you.
Maleficent Staff? The inkable 2-cost item that lets you gain lore whenever one of your opponent's characters' items or locations get sent back to their hand from play?
The one and only.
Wow. With this, all of my cards that send stuff back to hand can continue pushing for lore. Kit Cloud Kicker, We Don't Talk About Bruno, Poor Unfortunate Souls, Mother Knows Best.
Don't forget about other items like Emerald Chromacon and the Retrosphere.
There's also the Muses, Proclaimers of Heroes, bouncing even more characters with those songs you mentioned. And most of these can also be sung by Ursula, Deceiver of All, which means you could potentially be wiping your opponent's board clear and getting a ton of lore in the process.
Let's also not forget the multiplayer shenanigans. You've got cards like Gunther Interior Designer and Mother Gothel Unwavering Schemer, who bounce cards from all of your opponents.
This will also have my opponents thinking twice about using their own Madam Mims and Bippity Boppity Boos to bounce things, because I would be gaining lore from that as well.
I feel like any Amethyst deck may run a couple of these as a tech card for the mirror matches.
Thanks, guys. I'm really looking forward to this next set now and seeing how I can upgrade my deck with this card.
Well, this is a really interesting card, and we want to thank you all for watching our reveal for Azurite C. I know we've kind of been in hibernation. Glimmer Gang hasn't released a podcast in over 3 months, but we were gratefully given this card by Ravensburger to reveal to you guys, and we just want to say thank you to them for allowing us to do this, and also for this being a really good card. I mean, I think we were talking about it before, boys, but like this can really change the game with how like
Serious.
Amethyst does things. So Blake, I'll go to you first. Obviously, by what just happened, we know you're excited about this. What makes you so excited about this card?
Kind of like I said in the intro, like one of the biggest gripes is bouncing stuff and having your opponents just play it back. So this gives you a little something when you do bounce stuff. So it's a little more punishing, and just also whenever your opponents bounce their own things, you punish them for doing that as well. So just that duality around bouncing that I just love with this card.
And like I think we also mentioned, this is anti-goat. This is like one of the very first
Yes.
anti-goat things we have, and to be able to play this down, and it's pretty cheap, and say if you want to bounce your goat, you're not gonna. Yeah, you're gonna get to 20. You're gonna get closer to 20, but I'm also gonna get closer to 20. So that's one of the things I'm most excited about. But Sean, thoughts about Maleficent Staff for you?
Honestly, I'm in love with this card. I really, really like the idea of getting this down early and being able to mitigate some of that value your opponent can get when they're playing Amethyst and having the whole bounce package. Snakes, foxes, rabbits, goats. It helps you kind of bridge that gap a little bit. Like, yes, they're going to gain the value still from what they're doing, but you're going to chip away and gain a little bit more here and there, and that could be all it takes to push you over and win.
Yeah, and like one of the bigger things, like as a Ruby Amethyst player, in those mirror matches, this can really mean the world. And I don't see any Amethyst mirror match where they're bouncing goats and crabs and rabbits. And specifically when I'm thinking about like the crabs and the rabbits that aren't gaining lore, and yes, they're getting their opponent a different advantage, but then you're also gaining lore, and
You're gaining the advantage.
Exactly.
You're gaining the resource you need to win. So,
exactly. And Amethyst really doesn't have much item removal. Obviously, you can like pair it with steel, and there's the item removal, and obviously other colors do. But Amethyst itself isn't really an item removal color, so it's going to be hard to remove this, especially in the mirror matches. So that's kind of what I'm most looking forward to this card. It's I think there's a really fun deck, and like we mentioned earlier, there's a very fun multiplayer deck in here. But any last thoughts from you guys on this card?
Thank you,
I
Robin
just
Parker.
yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say I want to say thank you. Like this, I think this is just all opinion here, but I think this is the best card we've revealed so far, boys.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think this definitely has a spot in whether it's like actual meta or it's going to be in just like a multiplayer. I definitely think this is going to be played somewhere.
It is 100%,
which is really exciting. And like we all said, thank you, Ravensburger, for giving us this card to reveal. This was an awesome opportunity. Really excited about this card to see what it does. But yeah, that is all for our Azurite C card reveal. If you guys do want to follow any of us, our links will be down in the description. And if you guys want to follow the Glimmer Gang on any platform, you guys can do that as well. But for now, thank you all for watching, and Glimmer on.
Maleficent Staff? The inkable 2-cost item that lets you gain lore whenever one of your opponent's characters' items or lore...
Did it again.
You got the fat tongue today, man. What's up? Knock the cobwebs off.